around the edges. Life just does that. There's a little poem that I like, and here's just a sentence of it by Dan Chiasson. He says, "I am afraid where it would be highly useful to make a point. And there's times in your life and mine where you just can't seem to make the point. You can't get around to the direction you need to go in. You can't always get to the spot where you need to be in your thinking and your acting and your decision making, and your life is just frayed." It's Chiasson's way of talking about how sin plays out in our lives and how it plunders us. It causes us to sometimes feel alienated, even with our own bodies and our own minds. Sometimes you feel just a sense of dis-ease or uneasiness about what's going on. And there's a myriad of feelings that living with frayed edges evokes. Things like loneliness, regret, shame, a meaninglessness about your life and a purposelessness about it. Part of what the promise of the gospel and the lessons today is all about is that your life is not without purpose, it is not without meaning, and it has a focus and a point. And the point that Jesus simply makes in the gospel reading is that I am in the Father, you are in me, the Father is in you. And so we have a sort of a grand triangle relationship amongst all of us. So that with your life, you can in fact live because God is in contact with you every day of your life in some fashion. You'll notice what I did with the word advocate was to change that to counselor, because that seems in contemporary society to be a little more purposeful, because a counselor isn't, can offer help of different kinds, both comfort, advocacy, confrontation, a variety of things. When Jesus is talking about the gift of the Paraclete, you know its presence by the Spirit of truth. Because in fact, you do arrive in your life, even when you're unfocused or uncertain or feeling diseased, you do eventually arrive at the truth. You may not like it, what you come up with. You may avoid it. You may block it. You may suppress it. You may do all kinds of things to avoid the truth. But eventually the Spirit of truth, the Paraclete, the counselor, will push through so that you are facing the truth of your life and your circumstances. And because of that, the gospel, as Jesus taught it, and throughout the whole Bible, the more you're able to face the truth of the day, the more fully alive and the more fully human you become, with all of the commensurate energies and emotions and sense of directions that you're given. Well, the Spirit of truth and trust, the result of that, I was reading a little story. A little girl was in Sunday church school and was asked by her Sunday school teacher if she prayed before meals. And she looked at the Sunday school teacher and said, "No, my mom is a good cook." I was thinking, after I saw the newspaper yesterday, I thought, there's a little bit of a prophetic word in there somewhere, because the Portland, Oregon water supply has got a high fecal count, so that is not to be trusted at this very moment. And also, those of you who are having hamburgers, please, well done, because they've recalled 1.3 million pounds of hamburger, including here in Pennsylvania. So those of you who like them rare, no, you will get a nasty thing potentially. But again, who do you trust? You trust the one who loves you, and you know who that is, the Paraclete, sent by Jesus to be your advocate, your helper, your comforter, and your truth. And the underlying word, the Greek word for truth is aletheia. Interesting. Skip the A for a minute and just think aletheia was a river in the underworld that after people died of Greek religion would go and take a drink of water out of the river Aletheia, so that they could forget their past and forget everything. Aletheia, however, is a word in the Bible that is used as a synonym for the Holy Spirit because it's such a wonderful gift. The sense of waking up with your life, a sense of energy, a sense of being energized by the Spirit which God has given to us. In other words, we overcome our oblivion, our stupor, our negligence of seeking the truth and not being deceived by false ideas. In other words, seeing what actually is. I was reading an article recently about a football coach, and the coach's star player, I won't mention the college, the coach, or the player's name. So, stupid. But the star player was kicked out of college, not just off the team. And the coach went to the dean and said, "Why'd you expel him?" And the dean said, "We caught him cheating." "How do you know he was cheating?" "Well, let me tell you how. There was a straight-A student next to him. The history professor gave them a 10-point pop quiz, 10-question pop quiz. And the first 9 answers on the quiz were identical between that straight-A student and your player." "Well, you know that could happen," said the coach. "Maybe my player knew all the answers." The dean answered, "Yeah, that's true, but it was the 10th answer that sealed his fate. The straight-A student answered the 10th question with, 'I don't know.' And your prize player wrote, 'I don't know either.'" The Spirit of truth sometimes smacks you in the head, and you eventually get it. And that is the gift that God gives you every day of your life. The Spirit to be truthful with yourself. And when you are truthful with yourself, what that means that there are going to be times when you've got your A game on with your life. And when you got your game going, you can actually be a paraclete, which translates into comforter, advocate, or helper. You can do those things. Many of you have helped other people, friends and relatives, in a variety of say, helping in the government-related, filling out forms and helping people to move and helping find assisted living facilities and caring for other people. You've done all those things when you've had your Spirit of truth with you and you've been able to be a good paraclete walking alongside of other people. On other times and occasions, it takes longer when you don't have your A game, when your life is really discombobulated and you just don't have it together. It's much harder to seek out help. That's the unseemly, deadly sin of pride, where you are unable to recognize the truth of your life, where you really need somebody to walk alongside of you. And that Spirit of truth, when you recognize that you need somebody to walk with you, that too is a gift of Jesus, the gift of the Paraclete and the gift of the Holy Spirit. I was thinking of different things I've been reading over the last few months talking about gifts. It's very interesting how gifts come along, the gifts of truth. Paul McCartney wrote that he woke up from sleep one morning with the lyrics to Yesterday, the Beatles song. The lyrics were already there, and he just got up and wrote it down. A giftedness, and a song for him speaks truth. J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter series. I know it's Harry, I just want to see if you do. Very good, well done. She said that the Harry Potter series, all of the ideas fell into her head. You know, she did all kinds of research and thinking and all of that business, but the ideas fell into her head, is how she describes that going on. Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein, she got her book in a dream. She woke up after the dream and started writing. Already had the plot. Same thing with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Robert Louis Stevenson. He got his plot, his ideas, in a dream. He woke up, inspired, and wrote it down. Albert Einstein, with his theory of relativity, said, after all of his research and all of the years spent in doing that and not getting where he needed to be, all of a sudden one day, he says, the breakthrough came suddenly. He had an aha moment. And Tom Shadyac, who's the producer and director of Liar, Liar, Bruce Almighty, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and Patch Adams said this, quote, I never thought of a good idea in my whole life. I have received many good ideas. You get the idea of how the Spirit works. It drops in on your brain, it drops in on your heart in the midst of your life with whatever you're working on diligently, and provides you with insight, provides you with wisdom, sometimes comfort, sometimes advocacy, sometimes just another person dropping into your life and providing you the energy and motivation, and in conversation, the aha moment, the decision has been made. That's how you know the Spirit's present in your life. It's the gift we've been given. It's the gift you carry with you every day. And it's the gift that you know that Jesus is present in your life and loves you dearly, just like the song that was said.